today is a little bit of an upside down story, and the reason I say that is because today I'm actually here to talk to you about marketing. Now, the reason it's an upside down story is it actually started out as a land agent. I just wasn't a very good one. So what my job was eventually as a rural surveyor was actually to go out to businesses and consider diversification projects within estates in order to generate them additional income. What I discovered quite quickly, being in the diversification team, it was Smith Score, which is now Savills, was I didn't actually need to be a land agent to do what I was doing. So much to my father's absolute dismay, I left my job in corporate as a rural surveyor and decided to set up my own marketing business. Now, the reason the Rural Business Awards is important is that after 11 years of working in rural business marketing, I kind of put myself to the test, which was a slightly dangerous maneuver, in creating the Rural Business Awards. So I wanted an example of what was possible with marketing, but I also wanted to celebrate some of the most fabulous rural businesses out there that really don't get the recognition they deserve. So I sat down with my business partner and I, this is Anna on the left. That photograph is very, very cleverly positioned because she's about 6 foot tall, so they always have to be quite accurate in terms of where the photographer's standing. So Anna and I, both background in marketing, identified what we believed to be a gap in the market, and we set off to create the Rural Business Awards. Now, there are lots of the rural programs, but a lot of them are industry specific. You've got the Farmers Weekly Awards, so sector specific awards. This was about rural business, and this was covering a lot of different sectors. So we went headlong into our first event in 2015, and after the first one I said, I don't think I'm ever going to do that again ever in my life. And what I needed to remember was the strategy that we created to start with. We needed to stick to it and we needed to move on. So people ask me why the Rural Business Awards has been so successful, and I think A, it's because of the strategy that we put down when we started, but B, is because I am really rural. So this is me at home. My other half's a gamekeeper, so he works for the Game and Wildlife Conservation Trust. And that mattered to people just as much as my passion for helping rural businesses to grow and to thrive. So the first year came and went. We set off then into the ceremony in 2016 without too much of a hitch, to be honest, which is a massive relief to me after my first year, and I don't think I'm going to do it again. The reason 2016 went without a hitch in terms of an event was probably because we'd done all of the hard work in the first year in creating the blueprint for what would then roll on every year, but we were only doing one event a year. So, not content with resting on our laurels, last year we decided to go regional and do 6 events in October and a national final in February. But there was a really, really groundbreaking moment before this happened. This little logo, it's a rather big business, Amazon. Everybody says to me, where on earth did Amazon fit into the picture of the Rural Business Awards? And what I can tell you is that through marketing and through our strategy and through our positioning and through our consistency, they came to us. The only slight funny thing about when they did come to us, it was an email that dropped into my inbox that just had a one line of, are there any sponsorship opportunities available? Which I sent to my business partner and said, can you check this out? But I think it's spam. Probably the biggest shock was when we were then responded to that email with a 60-page dossier of why they were getting into the rural market. So that'll teach me. So we are about to start off on our journey actually for the regionals for this year. So we're starting off in the Midlands next week, and then 1 a week for 6 weeks. Last year, we did 2 a week for 3 weeks. That's another thing I'll never do again. And I think it's that honesty with the Rural Business Awards and with marketing, is that if you've got a strategy, as long as you achieve your objectives and it doesn't matter if you go a little bit wonky on the way to getting there. It doesn't matter if the plan changes a little bit. Just don't try to hide it and blag it too much. So with us, we've never been afraid to change things. So last year we did dinners and we did 2 a week for 3 weeks. This year we're doing 1 a week for 6 weeks, and we're actually doing it in the afternoons because the feedback was that actually it was a really big expense for smaller businesses, and they wanted more chance to network. So we changed it. I don't have any issue with changing any of it if it means that everybody gets out of it what they want to get out of it. So what happens then is the winners from all of those regions go forward to a national final. I look a little bit different in that picture to what I do today. The national final last year proved to me that going regional was the absolute best thing to do. Because what happened was that everybody that met at the regional events then went to the national final, and I am telling you, they partied until 4 o'clock in the morning. We are currently actually in the process of bringing out a figure which we believe to be in excess of £150,000 of business generated by people attending the awards, and guess what? Speaking to each other. It's not necessarily about Googling, and they were speaking to one another and they've done business with one another. And I don't think there could be any more testament to what we've done than that. The other massive plus is the team that I've created, which is actually an all-female team of girls who help now with the Rural Business Awards. We've created 5 full-time jobs. This is massive in terms of what we've achieved, and I think sometimes it's very easy to forget that a lot of the time you only need to come from very humble beginnings. Now, humble beginnings is definitely what this was. So this was our first event at Stapleford Park in 2015, and that's our stage with 2 pop-up banners, and this was me sending out tickets about this time of the year when the event was on the 13th of October. It's never ever a bad thing to turn around and just have a look back, and there's always stuff that you get wrong, but it's just being open and honest about what that is. Now, the 6 regions, as I say, we set off next week. Then there was this, which was the Rural Business Group. Now everybody says, so what's the Rural Business Group and how's that different from the Rural Business Awards? And it's quite simple. It's the people that came and shared the awards with us in 2015 that never wanted to leave. They never wanted to get rid of that contact point. They never wanted to not have that network of people to speak to. They wanted to still be able to pick up the phone. And believe me, my mobile still rings. Because unbelievably, nearly 50% of the people that enter our awards haven't got a business plan. That shocked me. I was amazed by that. Maybe I shouldn't be. But the Rural Business Group is a not-for-profit, CIC, where we collect everybody from every year of the awards. We share information, we share tips, we do referrals, and every single member that walks into that is free. All we want to do is signpost you all to the places that can give you the help that you need. There are loads of rural organisations, and there's a whole host of them here today. The difficulty that I've found is sometimes people just want to ask the most basic of questions, that they don't necessarily want to ask an accountancy firm or the people, because they're a little bit afraid of how much it's going to cost them, quite frankly. So a lot of the time, the conversations that I have with the Rural Business Group is just about pointing people in the right direction. Now, I'm not going to spend too long on this slide, but I'm a massive believer in the compound effect. If you've never read The Compound Effect, go home, put it into Amazon, get the book and read it. The compound effect is about deciding on a destination and doing something every day or every week that moves you in that same direction. It sounds basic, but it really was the fundamental switch that went on in my life about 12 years ago. Because it really is that. So people put a lot of pressure on creating the best marketing strategy, the best plan they could possibly come up with for their business. Do it, plan it, and then just do a little bit towards that every week, every day, however you want to do it. And I'm a massive believer in that. And that's what's led to this. So we've been on TV, we've been on radio. I spent 4 days at Countryfile Live. I took rural businesses to Countryfile Live over 4 days and put them in front of nearly 60,000 people. We've been at DEFRA round table. We've taken a delegation to 10 Downing Street. Luckily not at the minute because I don't think you'd get very close. However, it's proof that if you do go and travel in that direction with the strategy that you've put in place, you will get there. So we've been followed, of course, by Amazon. Believe it or not, they signed up for 3 years in 2016, and we had news only 5 weeks ago that they're also now going to do another 3 years with us. Scared me a little bit, if I'm honest, but another 3 years. So another 3 years was massive for us because it means we can still reinvest back into the infrastructure that makes the Rural Business Awards. But we've been closely joined then now by NFU Mutual, who've been absolutely fantastic, and Openreach because they just have to open their ears and listen to all of you that just can't get connected. I like having someone that I can divert everybody to that says they can't get phone or broadband signal at home. That makes me happy. So marketing then. I've just told you a fantastic story of how marketing works, and then everyone said, yeah, that's great, Jemma, but how on earth did you do that? This is one of my favourite pictures. Does anybody know? Does anybody here know what search engine optimization is? Do you want to explain it? No? Okay. So search engine optimization is essentially how you get to the top of the Google, and I genuinely get people that ring me up and ask me this. Well, I want our cabins to be at the top of Google by Monday. Okay, that's cool. It's probably going to cost you quite a bit because I don't think we've quite got the strategy in place to have got you there over the last few months. But, you know, if you've got some money in your pocket, I can whack it through AdWords and see what happens. So what I'm going to share with you today is what I consider to be my top 10 tips of what you need to do with your marketing. Now, the reason this is important is because I haven't come at this from being a pure marketer. I am a marketer, but I've come from a business angle. It's very different, very, very different, because it's not about getting carried away with the campaign, the wonderful logos, the website. It's about, actually, where am I now, where do I want to get to, and how am I going to get there? So one of my first ones is doing your research. Sounds really simple. But I had to make sure that if we truly believed we'd identified a gap in the market, I needed to test it. I needed to make sure I went out there, sort out all of anything that was similar, any congregations of similar groups of people, and find out if I genuinely identified a gap. Sometimes people identify a gap and they almost convince themselves of the gap that's not there. So doing your research is absolutely huge to making sure that you make a success of the thing that you've found. Reading, learning, and questioning. I am never above admitting when I'm out of my depth. And I never ever stop reading up and reading round my subject area. It's okay to question yourself, and it's also okay for other people to question you. I sometimes make people laugh when just come on, just give me the worst that you've got, because I genuinely want to understand what your questions are and how that might shape what I'm doing differently. Be prepared just to put yourself out there and accept what comes your way. Considering risk and what it looks like to you. I have a piece of paper that still exists that sits in my house that actually details what the worst thing that could happen if it all went tits up. So am I allowed to say that? What was the worst that could happen? Because if I was prepared to accept the worst that could happen, then perhaps I was just free to just roll up my sleeves and get on with it. Sometimes you have to consider what the biggest risk is and what that looks like to you and what you're prepared to risk to get there. Because that's different for everybody. It could be related to the farm, it could be related to diversity, it could be because you've got a young family. Make sure you write down what it is that risk is to you. What are the biggest things that are going to prevent you from getting where you want to go, and address them early. Chuck them all out there. Hashtag kitchen table, as we like to call it at the Rural Business Awards. Just put them all out there. Celebrating and inhabiting, accepting in each other. I think one of my team must have come up with that one because that sounds a little bit fluffy to me. But knowing the numbers. I like this one. So, financial strategy. Is there many people in the room that can hold up their hand and tell me that they have a business strategy aligned with a marketing strategy aligned with a financial plan? Is anybody gonna? Okay, you again. I don't know what you're doing here. I think you might need to, I don't think you need this seminar. So, knowing your numbers is absolutely critical. Whether we like to admit it or not, we all have to know what the value is of stuff. And if we're doing stuff and we're contouring stuff and we're balancing, we need to know exactly what that means to the bottom line. If we can't pay ourselves and we continue to not pay ourselves and we continue to just wade into the fog, we're never going to get where we want to go, no matter how much we try to convince ourselves that we are. If there are business owners here, you'll know my pain, and you know that the first person's wages and the first person's salary to go if you've not made it this month is your own. That's okay, at times, if you know you've got the pipeline to correct it, but you can't keep going like that. So knowing your numbers is absolutely crucial to your wider marketing plan. Network and being in front of people. I've travelled here today from Leicestershire to be in front of people, to meet, to greet you all and to go, because it's about connections with people and individuals that matter. People want face-to-face. Network with the people that you can identify with the most. Get the help, get the network around you that's going to try and make your dreams become a reality, because believe it or not, there is quite a lot of reciprocity that exists within our rural communities. We do genuinely want to help one another. Don't be afraid to ask somebody for a bit of advice before they charge you anything. Ring me. No, don't all ring me, but some of you can if you want. Hold your horses. Now, a lot of people ask me, when it comes to marketing, what's the biggest advice you could ever give anyone? Write your business strategy, which is different to a marketing strategy. It's where you want to get to in the next 3 to 5 years. Write your financial strategy that tells you how much money you need to earn in the first 3 to 5 years. And follow that up with a marketing strategy, which will then tell you what tools to use to get there. What people do a lot is create a business plan and then decide that they need a website and a logo and an identity and a leaflet first. The reality is we don't need all of the tools in the toolbox in order to get to where we want to go. It's not necessary. So go to the business plan, develop the strategy, and then pick your tools. Hold your horses refers to just stop. Just stop. Try to take a day to think and work on the business, not in it. Take yourself away from everything that distracts you, and actually turn around and have a look at what you're doing. Do we need to be spending what we're spending on search engine optimization? Do I need to be spending an hour on Facebook? Am I going to find my clients that I want to tackle on Facebook? Is that where they're hanging out? Is my target audience on Instagram? Because you know what, if they're not, leave it alone. If they're not on Facebook, leave that alone. I know that a lot of my work I actually do via LinkedIn. It's a professional network, works well for me, but you don't have to worry about being all things to all people either. Okay? Understanding your business support structure. It always astounds me how little people know about all the help that's right at their feet. LEPs, Growth Hubs, the CLA, Business Barn, they're all here. They're all there ready and waiting to help you. I think sometimes it's just about getting up and asking. If you can understand the structure that's around you when you're developing your tools for your marketing plan, you might be able to identify at least 3 or 4 people that can actually help you. And this last one is really, really important to me, and that's being authentic and remembering your why. Why you get out of bed in the morning, why you do it, why you travel, why you do the things that you do. It's about being you and not trying to be something and someone you're not, which sounds really basic. But you'll know from hearing me today that I'm just really quite a normal, down-to-earth person that's created a business that's going really well at the moment. But I'll tell you what, I'll be the first to tell you if it's not. Being authentic is massively important. So this is my favorite ever quote. Strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. Tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat. Basically tells you if you plan, you'll get there eventually. If you use everything in the toolkit and don't have a strategy, it won't work. And it's the biggest thing that I could tell you all that you could take away and make sure you pin that down.